Inside the Supreme Court, Justice Amy Coney Barrett's explosive special report interview, straight to the highlights. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're tuned in for the unfiltered truth on America's highest court, you're in for a treat. Last night, on September 8, 2025, Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett sat down with Bret Baier on Fox News' special report for a no-holds-barred, hour-long exclusive. This comes right on the eve of her new book, Listening to the Law, Reflections on the Court and Constitution, dropping today, September 9th. Forget the fluff. We're jumping straight into the interview's biggest bombshells, her fierce defense of the court's nonpartisan role, the straight talk on Trump's third-term dreams, the lasting impact of today's rulings on future presidencies, and why she's nobody's justice. I'll break it down with direct quotes, key moments, and what it all means for our polarized nation. If this fires you up, hit like, subscribe, and drop your take in the comments. Let's dive in. The interview kicked off with Baier zeroing in on the public's growing distrust of the Supreme Court. Polls show approval ratings scraping the bottom at under 40%, fueled by ethics scandals, leaked drafts, and game-changing decisions like overturning Roe v. Wade. Barrett didn't dodge. She addressed the disconnect head-on. People stop me at airports, in churches, even at my kids' schools with questions. How do you pick cases? Do justices get along? Are you just politicians in robes? She said, explaining her book as a way to bridge that gap. But the real zinger, her clapback at accusations of partisanship. You know, we don't wear red and blue. We all wear black because judges are nonpartisan, Barrett told Baier firmly. It's a powerful visual, black robes symbolizing neutrality amid a red vs blue America. She emphasized, we're all listening to the law. We're all trying to get it right. We're not playing for a team. This line alone went viral on X, with users praising her for reminding everyone that the court isn't a political arena. Barrett's point: the justices aren't elected, they're interpreters of the Constitution, not policy makers. In the book, she echoes this, writing that her office doesn't entitle me to align the legal system with my moral or policy views. Swearing to apply the law faithfully means deciding each case based on my best judgment about what the law is. Baier then pivoted to one of the hottest topics, the Dobbs decision, the 2022 ruling that ended federal abortion rights and returned the issue to the states. Critics from the left blast it as a conservative power grab. Barrett defended it as constitutional fidelity. Dobbs did not say that abortion is illegal. Dobbs said it belongs to the political process, she clarified, stressing that Roe v. Wade was a mistaken overreach that ignored history and the text of the 14th Amendment. Drawing from her book, she argued, the evidence does not show that the American people have traditionally considered the right to obtain an abortion so fundamental to liberty that it goes without saying in the Constitution. In fact, the evidence cuts in the opposite direction. Abortion not only lacked long-standing protection in American law, it had long been forbidden. Barrett portrayed Dobbs as empowering democracy. Let states and voters decide, not 9 unelected justices. The court's role is to respect the choices that the people have agreed upon, not to tell them what they should agree to, she wrote in Listening to the Law. Since the ruling, 19 states have imposed strict limits or bans, while others have expanded access, exactly the federalism Barrett champions. But she didn't ignore the backlash. Post-Dobbs, she and her family faced death threats, leading to U.S. Marshals guarding her home. Violence or threats of violence against judges shouldn't be the cost of public service, she lamented in the interview, tying it to the broader erosion of civility. Faith, a lightning rod since her 2020 confirmation, got airtime too. Democrats grilled her on Catholic dogma, potentially influencing rulings. Barrett flipped it, saying every judge has deeply held moral commitments, secular or religious, that must be set aside. Everyone has more commitments. They all must be put aside if one is to judge, she told Baier. In the book, she opens up about personal struggles, like her moral opposition to the death penalty from a pre-judgeship article she co-authored. Death penalty cases drive home the collision between the law and my personal beliefs, she writes, but insists she rules based on precedent and text, not feelings. This vulnerability humanizes her, a mom of 7, including 2 adopted from Haiti and 1 with Down syndrome, balancing family life with landmark cases. She shared a fun anecdote. Her parenting experience informed a ruling on age verification for online content, telling a lawyer, "Content filtering for all those devices, I can say from personal experience, is difficult to keep up with." It's these glimpses into court life, collegial lunches, intense oral arguments like a classroom with the weight of the world, that make the interview and book so engaging. Now, the part that's sparking headlines: Donald Trump and presidential power. With Trump back in the White House and floating a third term, Barrett pressed Barrett on the 22nd Amendment's two-term limit. The 22nd Amendment says you can only run for office for 2 terms, Barrett noted. Barrett: "True, Barrett. You think that's cut and dry." Barrett: "Well, you know, that's what the amendment says. After FDR had 4 terms, that's what the amendment says. No wiggle room." She shut down any loophole talk, emphasizing the Constitution's clarity. This carries weight. The court could rule on any challenge. Barrett also tackled Trump's recent criticisms of her for siding against his admin in some emergency appeals. "I'm nobody's justice," she declared, adding with a laugh that if Trump called her personally, I might wonder if he had the wrong number. She's pushing back on MAGA frustration, noting presidents always gripe when appointees rule independently. It's not personal, it's the job. But the interview's most forward-looking moment: Barrett's warning on the long shadow of Supreme Court decisions. Barrett asked about cases on executive immunity and power, like those stemming from Trump's orbit. "Supreme Court decisions today will matter for presidencies far into the future," she said emphatically. Elaborating, "It's about the presidency. The decisions we make today are the same ones that will still be precedent 3 or 4 presidents from now. Think about it. Rulings on official acts immunity aren't just for Trump or Biden. They set rules for Harris, Vance, or anyone in 2030. Barrett stressed the court's role in maintaining balance, rejecting claims of a constitutional crisis. "Reports of a constitutional crisis have been greatly exaggerated," she echoed from a recent book event, insisting the rule of law is alive and well. She pushed back on Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's view that the court favors the executive too much. "I don't think it's true. The court isn't about evening things out, like kids on a playground." Barrett also probed the court's inner dynamics. Do justices really get along? Barrett painted a picture of camaraderie. Shared meals, debates over coffee, even champagne pops in chambers when opinions get quick joins, though she didn't name the tricky one. Her writing style: mostly 1 jalapeno of spice, but she admits to a Tabasco zinger at Jackson in one dissent. Early, timid labels. Hopefully, those have fallen by the wayside. On security post threats, she shared the toll, hesitating to dance at weddings for fear of viral videos fueling hate. This interview isn't just promo for listening to the law, it's Barrett's bid to reclaim the court's image as impartial referees, not partisan players. Reviews call the book a rare look inside, though some say it's studiously bland on controversies. On X, clips from the sit-down are exploding, with one user sharing the full segment, 20,250,908 special report with Brett Baer interview with U.S. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Liberals see spin, conservatives applaud her independence. Either way, in a divided America, her message, follow the law, not the polls, hits hard. What do you think? Does this restore faith in the court, or is it too little too late? Sound off below. If you want the full breakdown of the book next, like and subscribe. Links to buy Listening to the Law in the description. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp.